it's good practice for us to know who exactly is presenting.
So members, hopefully my video is displaying there. And also the slide is also displaying on your side. Maybe to increase it a little. Okay. So thank you members, and thank you Professor for the invite. Now in this study, I looked at the topic customer experience and hotel competitiveness in the hospitality industry of Uganda. So a case of selected hotels in Entebbe municipality, and that is in Wakiso district. Now this study was guided by the objectives, and was guided by 3 objectives. And these are the specific objectives: to investigate how customer care experience influences hotel competitiveness in Entebbe municipality, and to examine the extent in which incorporation of green ecosystem influences hotel competitiveness in Entebbe municipality. And the other objective was to assess the extent the hotel beauty artistry influences hotel competitiveness in Entebbe municipality. So from these objectives, the study focused on examining customer care experience and how it influences hotel competitiveness. Then also in the second objective, the study had to examine incorporation of green ecosystem and how it influences hotel competitiveness. And in the third objective was particularly focused on the hotel beauty artistry and how it influences hotel competitiveness. So to collect data, the study utilized the following methodology. So I adopted the cross-sectional research design, particularly because of the limitedness of time. I needed to have it unexposed to the field, collect data from a larger population within a short time so that I can get to hit the required time of submission here. So this study is no longitudinal, but instead cross-section. Then also I blended this with the descriptive research design to describe the characteristics of the respondents, looking at their suggestions, their views, and their opinions in relation to the independent variable, which is the customer experience, and then also the dependent variable, which is the hotel competitiveness. So the study also relied on the mixed research approach, which combined both quantitative and qualitative research approaches. So in this study, quantitative data was collected using questionnaires, which were closed-ended. The questionnaires had closed-ended statements, and at the same time, at the bottom, to get some qualitative data to explain that the closed-ended questions, the questionnaire carried some open-ended questions. To collect more detailed qualitative data, still an interview guide was developed to capture qualitative data, and these were administered to specific respondents who were some customers and also community leaders who were in the locations where the hotels were located. And also now when this data was collected uh, and analyzed, because this is a mixed study, I used explanatory sequential approach to explain quantitative data using qualitative data. Then when I looked at the sample size, this study focused on members. Here I will add just this is not 5 hotels, 6 hotels in my presentation here. 6 hotels where 359 were quantitative samples and 25 were qualitative samples. That is that data. That is the sample size that this study focused to involve. To involve. Then these 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 samples to reach to these numbers, simple random sampling and was used, particularly simple random for customers. So I did not follow any criterion to select customers. Provided the customer is on the hotel, he had a chance to get involved. Then purposive was also considered for reaching out to hotel managers, the chiefs, and also the community leaders and entrepreneurs who use these hotels. And then snowball sampling was also used in some instances where uh, the where I find that one of the community leader knows a colleague who is a community leader who actually has used that hotel or the hotels I had to study. So for that case, I went purposive to that community leader, and when getting to that community leader, he would refer me to a colleague whom he knows has also visited those hotels. And when it comes to data collection, the study designed a survey, and this survey had uh, questions which were placed in a Likert scale, and when these surveys were developed, were attached on the proposal, and then all the table, a table of the survey, having the questionnaires had to be attached, and each had 7 questions, and then that was on a Likert of 5, 1 to 5. Then the interview guide was also used to guide me, the researcher, so that the responses I get are guided with the similar questions and to be consistent. So for that case, when the data was collected from these surveys and also collected from the interviews, it had to be analyzed. So to analyze this data, because you are collecting 2 data sets, the quantitative data set and the qualitative data set, so I used 2 data analysis methods. For analyzing quantitative data, this quantitative data had to be entered in SPSS. For example, here it's an example. I collected this data from those questionnaires, and then those markings there had to be, as the questionnaire was, had to be populated in SPSS, and when it was the data from the questionnaire was populated into SPSS in the variable view, then the responses were entered in the in
Ssebuyungo,
yes.
that is not detail we need.
Okay.
Certainly, if you are entering data, you'll use, the
Okay.
data view.
So it was entered in SPSS, and these data analysis methods were used. I used descriptive analysis, where I relied on mean and standard deviation, and we also used from this descriptive analysis for each of the constructs. uh, we had to correlate. We used another analysis method called correlational analysis, correlating each of the construct with and seeing how it influences the dependent variable, which is hotel competitiveness. So for that case, even hotel competitiveness had its descriptive statistics of mean and standard deviation. So correlation was done using Pearson correlation uh, coefficient to arrive at the whether positive or negative correlation or no correlation at all. Then it also gave us the level of significance, which we based on the alpha value of 0.05. Then later, we also needed to get the R square, which would explain the level of effect or influence between the independent and the dependent variable. So we had to run the regression analysis for that case. So even regression analysis was considered. On the other side of qualitative analysis, data was organized in themes. So thematic analysis was used. In the explanations, quantitative data was presented first, then it was explained using qualitative findings, which were quoted.
Can we
Italics.
please go to the findings? Can we go to the findings?
Okay. So from objective one, which was to examine the influence of customer care experience and hotel competitiveness in entire municipality, the correlation, these were correlating the descriptive statistics from customer care experience and hotel competitiveness. So when this correlation was run, Pearson correlation coefficient R of 0.754 was obtained, and this 0.754 explains that in Entebbe municipality hotels, customer care experience has a positive and strong influence to hotel competitiveness. That implies that for hotels in Entebbe to remain more competitive, they've got to intensify efforts and ensure that customer care experiences are built up through good customer care. So that counted to the R value of 0.754. So then this correlation also gives us the level of significance, which is 0.00. When this is compared to the threshold alpha value of 0.05, this is very significant. Means that for hotels of Entebbe municipality to remain competitive in such a market which has a multicultural customers and as a tourism destination, it has got to make sure that customer care experience is made is strengthened so that the hotel remains remains competitive. So that is very the significance, the level of significance is actually indicating that it is very significant. Here I've not put a table of the regression model, but instead pulled out the R square from the regression model. The R square, which is squaring the R value, is 0.56.7, which is 0.56. When this one is expressed in percentage, it is 56.7, which means that, which implies that hotel competitiveness in Entebbe municipality, 56.7% of it is explained by customer care experience. And then on the other side, which is the second objective, which was to assess the incorporation of customer green ecosystem and its influence on hotel competitiveness. A correlation of incorporation of customer green ecosystem was run versus hotel competitiveness in Entebbe municipality. And for this, a correlation R of 0.596 was obtained, which explains that incorporation of customer green ecosystem has a moderate but positive. It is a positive moderate correlation with hotel competitiveness. And this is also very significant, meaning that if hotels in Entebbe municipality have got to remain competitive, then they have got to incorporate customer green ecosystems so that they match with the competitive edges of hotels which are close to the airport, and this was when this relationship was run using a linear regression. An R square value of 0.355 was obtained, which tells us if this is converted to percentage is 35.5%, which implies that hotel competitiveness in Entebbe municipality is explained by 35.5% of incorporation of customer green ecosystem. So in relation with the previous objective, we see that customer care experience showed incorporation of green ecosystem. However, even
Your
incorporation of
slides are no longer moving.
no longer moving.
Mm-hmm.
Is it
You
here
may
moving?
have to put them in slide mode.
Yeah. Oh,
And as you do that, I'm handing over to Dr. Bill, who has joined to chair the session.
sorry. Is this now displaying on your side?
It is displaying objective one.
Oh, okay. Sorry. There is a typo. There is a typo here. This is one, and then okay. Sorry for this is two, and then
And then this is just a progress presentation, so you cannot use our all 30 minutes. You
okay,
get?
okay.
So please make
I'm
sure you
concluding.
summarize in the next 5 minutes.
Are we able to see objective 3?
Yes, we are.
Okay. For examining the influence of hotel beauty artistry on hotel competitiveness in Entebbe, a Pearson correlation coefficient of 0.641 was obtained, which explains that hotel beauty artistry in Entebbe municipality has a strong positive correlation with hotel competitiveness. And this was also significant at a p-value of 0.00. And this relationship, when linear regression analysis was conducted, an R square of 0.41 was obtained, implying that our hotel competitiveness in Entebbe municipality is explained at 41% by hotel beauty artistry. For this, for this case, this implies that for hotels in Entebbe to remain competitive, then they should have, they need to embrace hotel beauty artistry and incorporate it in their operations and strategic plan so that they remain competitive in that community. So these findings were in a detail were explained uh, by qualitative data, which uh, which chapter 4 of the dissertation reflects. Now, these are some of the lessons in my conclusion that I got that I needed to share with my colleagues. That the biggest task I realized was data collection, because sometimes you go to the hotel. I realized that in these hotels, the biggest influential office is the HR's office. Almost each of the hotel I went to, they would tell me, wait for the HR, wait for the HR. The HR is the one to handle. And then she had to, they had to endorse to interact with their clients. Because of that safety, they are thinking you are a competitor who is trying to look for information to go and compete more. I also realized that these hotels are managed and are regulated by the Uganda Tourism Board, which sets standards that they have got to follow, and that therefore it also ranks them, assigning them stars. The hotels I studied were 3-star and 4-star hotels. Then they are also embodied in under an umbrella of the Uganda Hotel Owners Association, which they have got to subscribe to each year, and then they are trained. The staff there are trained, and so that they work within what is required. So it also will guide my recommendations. Then conclusively still, I realized that customer care experience had a stronger positive correlation, and its effect on customer competitiveness is higher than the other, and it is followed by hotel beauty artistry at 41% of the R square, and then hotel artistry came last at 36% of the variation in hotel competitiveness. Thank you for being hosted.